The moment you understand that nothing is random, your life begins to change. You walk differently. You speak with purpose. You listen for signs. Because you finally realize you are not walking through a series of accidents. You are walking through a sacred design. You no longer brush off the moment. You meet someone who knows someone who just happens to be the bridge to your next blessing. You no longer dismiss the sudden urge to go somewhere. And when you do, you run into the very opportunity you've been praying for. You no longer label it luck when money comes just as the bill is due. Because now you know this is spiritual precision. This is divine timing. This is the Synchronicity Symphony Law, tuning your path with sacred intelligence. And the more you lean in, the more you align. The more you listen, the more you hear. The more you trust, the more you see. And what once looked like chaos now becomes choreography, a holy pattern, a spiritual rhythm, a melody too perfect to be random. When Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Miracle shall follow miracle and wonders shall never cease," she wasn't using poetic language. She was speaking universal law. This law does not skip those who believe. It includes them. It wraps them in synchronicity after synchronicity until faith is the only logical conclusion. And yet, it all begins with awareness. Are you aware of the nudges? Are you aware of the timing? Are you aware of the conversation that answers your prayer? The headline that gives you direction, the inner urge to move now instead of later. Are you awake enough to see that the signs are already there, that the bridge has already formed, that the music is already playing? What if you saw your life not as a struggle but as a score, composed with perfect purpose? What if your delays were not punishments, but pauses in the music so the next note could land more powerfully? What if that no was not rejection but redirection, a necessary key change to take you somewhere higher? This is what synchronicity teaches, that everything serves, everything fits. Everything flows when you stop resisting the melody and start dancing with it. Even the missteps, even the missed calls, even the broken plans. Each one brings you back into tune. Nothing is wasted in the divine's arrangement. Every broken piece becomes part of a beautiful pattern. Every detour becomes a doorway. Every so-called mistake becomes a moment of learning, leading, aligning. And yet, so many walk around asking, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask, what is this preparing me for? That shift in your thinking will shift your entire vibration. Because once you see life as for you, not against you, you unlock the law. You activate the music. You engage with the harmony. And suddenly, you begin to move with grace instead of fear. Suddenly, you start flowing instead of forcing. Suddenly, you recognize that your job is not to control, but to cooperate. Not to figure it all out, but to feel your way forward. The divine speaks in intuition, in whispers, in waves of knowing. And the more you act on those nudges, the louder the music gets. The more obedient you are to the inner pull, the more miraculous the results. Think back to those moments in your life that felt too perfect to explain. Moments where the timing was uncanny. Moments where one decision led to an avalanche of blessings. That was not coincidence. That was divine coordination. You were being guided. You were being set up for success. And if it happened once, it can happen again. Not just once, but always, because the Synchronicity Symphony Law is not a one-time miracle. It is a system. It is a law. It is the natural result of spiritual alignment. When you align with your higher self, your higher path reveals itself. When you align with faith, faith becomes the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. Have you ever thought of someone and they called you? That's alignment. Have you ever needed money and found some? That's provision. Have you ever asked for guidance and a stranger said the exact words you needed? That's confirmation. The universe is always responding to the vibration you carry. Carry doubt, and you'll block it. Carry fear, and you'll slow it. But carry faith, and you'll feel the divine rhythm rushing to meet you. And once you enter that rhythm, life stops being heavy, because now you're carried. You are not pushing through life, you are flowing with it. Florence always said, the game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later, with astounding accuracy. Synchronicity is the boomerang returning with blessings. Returning with clarity. Returning with things you forgot you prayed for. That song you hear in the store, it's not random. That person who shows up with an opportunity, not random. That idea that arrives at 3 a.m. after you've released your fear in prayer, not random. These are the golden threads, tying your physical life to your spiritual design. And the more you speak life, the more you notice life speaking back. You say, I am aligned with my highest good. And watch how things line up. You say, nothing can block what's divinely mine, and suddenly doors open. You affirm, I walk in divine timing, and divine timing reveals itself. Loop this truth again and again until it becomes your reality. You are in the right place. You are being guided. Nothing is random. Everything is responding. Even your pain has a point. Even your confusion contains clarity in seed form. Do not curse the chaos. It is making room for the miracle. Do not fear the unknown. It's filled with answers. And do not call these gifts coincidences. Call them what they are: grace in motion. Miracles in rhythm. The divine reminding you, I have not forgotten you. When the same numbers keep appearing, when the same message keeps arriving, when you feel like something is just too aligned to be random, pause. That's not an accident. That's an invitation. That's the universe saying, look deeper. You're on the right track. The world will try to call it luck, but you know better. You know that spiritual laws govern the unseen, and those laws respond to belief, respond to clarity, respond to speech, respond to alignment. This is the miracle code Florence left us, a blueprint to walk in spiritual dominion, not confusion. You must begin to speak the language of the law. Declare, divine timing is orchestrating every detail of my life. Say, I expect miracles. I expect divine surprises. I expect things to work for me. Then watch as the world rearranges itself to match your expectation, because it will, it must. That is law, and what you expect becomes your experience. What you affirm becomes your atmosphere. What you believe becomes the melody playing through your day. And here is the loop. The more you trust, the more proof you receive. The more proof you receive, the more trust grows. This is the sacred spiral. This is the loop that becomes your new reality. The more you notice, the more there is to notice. The more you affirm, the more comes to affirm. And the more you give thanks, the more you're given. Gratitude is the accelerant, faith is the ignition, and obedience is the path. When you feel called to turn left, turn. When your heart says wait, pause. When your spirit says move, go. Do not delay, do not doubt, do not dismiss. Because the timing is perfect, the melody is holy, and you are being invited into divine momentum. Call this what it is: divine symphony. Call yourself what you are: a sacred instrument. Call your life what it can be: a miracle in progress. And no longer will you walk blind. No longer will you dismiss the clues. You will walk awake. You will see the hand behind the scenes. You will recognize the voice in the silence. And every so-called coincidence will be received as a message, clear, divine, and unmistakably personal. The universe is not random. The divine is not distant. God is not silent. Everything is speaking. If only you'd listen. Florence Scovel Shinn didn't teach magic. She taught alignment. She didn't promise fantasy. She revealed law. And when you follow the law, life begins to follow you. The more you speak from truth, the more truth surrounds you. The more you live in trust, the more trust leads you. And suddenly, everything connects. Suddenly, everything makes sense. So stop calling them coincidences. Call them confirmation. Call them love notes from heaven. Call them miracles in disguise. And when they come, don't question, give thanks. Don't overthink. Just receive. Because the Synchronicity Symphony is real. The signs are real. And your life, no matter how broken it may feel, is part of a greater masterpiece in motion. Stop calling them coincidences, because they are not. They are God's love notes, delicately placed into the rhythm of your life. Every so-called accident, every strange alignment, every moment of perfect timing is a divine whisper. You think of someone and the phone rings. It's them. You worry about money, and then you receive an unexpected refund. You ask for clarity, and the exact book falls into your hands. These are not random. These are not flukes. This is the Synchronicity Symphony Law in action. It is the music of the divine played through the instruments of your daily life. When you align with your divine plan, the universe begins to orchestrate in your favor. The traffic lights turn green at just the right moment. The right opportunity shows up the moment you surrender, and the answer comes just when you finally stop trying to control. These aren't coincidences. These are confirmations. Confirmations that you are being guided, led, supported. This is not luck. This is law, spiritual law, universal law, divine design in motion. Florence Scovel Shinn said, miracles shall follow miracle and wonders shall never cease. And when you live aligned with the divine, you step into a river where those miracles flow. One miracle pools in the next. One alignment leads to another. One open door leads to a hall of endless possibilities. But here's the secret, Ang. You must be willing to follow the nudges. You must listen to the whispers. You must obey the signs, even when they don't make logical sense. Logic is not the language of the divine. Faith is. You must have faith in the invisible thread pulling you forward. You must walk even when you don't see the full staircase. The Synchronicity Symphony Law is not about waiting. It's about walking. moving, flowing, trusting. It is about living as if the universe is for you, not against you. And the moment you do, the proof arrives, over and over again, looping, confirming, reassuring, one divine note after another. That missed flight that kept you from harm, that job rejection that led to your dream position, that random encounter that became a lifetime blessing. The universe does not play dice. It plays symphonies. And you are the chosen soloist when you say yes to your divine assignment. So many people walk through life thinking they are alone, thinking life is random and harsh. But you are not alone, and life is not random. You are walking through a divinely composed melody, and the more you listen, the more you tune into the rhythm of your purpose. When you pray for direction and a stranger says exactly what you needed to hear, that's not chance, it's orchestration. When you miss your bus, only to bump into someone who changes your life, that's not bad luck. It's divine coordination. The universe has eyes you cannot see and hands that reach through the walls of logic to realign your steps. You don't always see the bigger picture, but the picture exists, and you are part of it. Trust that the thread running through your days is golden, not broken. And the more you align with love, faith, and purpose, the more that thread reveals its beauty. Even your delays are orchestrated. Even your detours are composed. And even your setbacks are movements in a greater masterpiece. You must become aware of the patterns. Life isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. If you expect struggle, you'll find struggle. If you expect miracles, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Because miracles aren't rare. They're just rarely recognized. You walk past answered prayers every day because you're too busy calling them coincidences. But once you open your spiritual eyes, you'll see how deeply loved, deeply guided, and deeply seen you really are. That email that came just in time. That instinct that told you to wait. That quiet voice that said, "Go now," and you avoided trouble. These are the daily miracles, the music notes of the Synchronicity Symphony. And the more you notice them, the more they appear. That's the loop. That's the pattern. That's how the universe works when you say, "I believe." You must become the kind of person who looks for alignment instead of evidence. Because faith is not about what you see. It's about what you know. And when you know you are being guided, you no longer panic in the pause. You no longer fear the silence. Because even in stillness, there is movement. Even in waiting, there is tuning. You are being prepared for the next note in the song. So stop doubting the timing. Stop fighting the flow. Begin to cooperate with the divine melody that's already playing beneath the noise. There is rhythm to your journey. There is harmony in your struggle. And there is resolution at the end of each chaos. When you wake up with a dream and meet someone who has the key to it. Synchronicity. When you're lost and overhear a conversation that answers your prayer. Synchronicity. When you look back on your life and realize the worst day led to the best breakthrough. Synchronicity. These are not tricks. These are teachings. The universe is showing you how it works. Florence said, "There are no lost opportunities in divine mind. As one door shuts, another door is opened. But you must have eyes to see the new door. You must train yourself to look with spiritual awareness. Keep a journal of synchronicities. Write them down. They are your personal proof. They are the divine's way of saying, 'I am here. I hear you. I am guiding you.' If you feel like you're drifting, start aligning. Get back to your spiritual practices. Speak your word. Affirm your truth. Say aloud, 'Everything is happening for my highest good. Only good can come to me.' And then watch as the dots begin to connect. One after another. Loop after loop. Confirmation after confirmation. This is not fantasy. It's spiritual law. And Florence Scovel Shinn dedicated her life to showing that spiritual laws are more real than anything you can see with your physical eyes. The invisible is powerful. The unseen is orchestrating the scene. And when you surrender to the flow, you begin to witness a kind of beauty that no human mind could plan. You are not late. You are not lost. You are right on time. You are exactly where you need to be to receive the next instruction. And once you take the next step in faith, more light appears. This is how the journey unfolds. Not all at once, but piece by piece, note by note, synchronicity by synchronicity. You are the melody, and you are being played by the divine. Stay soft. Stay open. Keep listening, because the symphony is playing, and the music is made of miracles. Don't call them coincidences. Call them what they are, divine choreography. And don't just watch the signs. Follow them. Trust them. Let them guide you home. And when the soul has finally paused long enough to notice these divine clues, what once seemed like codes becomes choreography. Every step in perfect rhythm, every delay purposeful, every chance meeting a message wrapped in divine ribbon. The man who missed the bus only to meet a stranger who became the answer to his prayer. Was that really misfortune, or was it synchronicity dancing in disguise? Beloved, I tell you plainly, there are no accidents for the spiritually awake. The subconscious is always drawing its match from the invisible to the visible. If your thought is clear, your signal is strong, and what appears as coincidence is simply alignment. That moment you think of someone, and they call that book you pick up and it answers your unspoken question, that stranger you meet who offers a solution you prayed for silently, these are not accidents, darling. These are divine echoes. The universe is responsive, it's musical, it's precise. And when you move in faith, not fear, you begin to see that it's not you chasing miracles, it's miracles chasing you. I once said, miracles shall follow miracle and wonders shall never cease. And this is not just poetic language, it is law. The law of synchronicity sings to those who listen with the inner ear, the spiritual ear, the quiet ear of faith. The universe does not delay in delivering to those who are aligned with their divine design. Your part is to expect it, to look for it, not with tension or anxiety, but with the calm knowing that what is yours is magnetized to you by grace, not effort. Life becomes a flowing melody of provision, love, timing, and ease. You stop trying to control outcomes and instead trust the divine conductor who never misses a beat. But here's what many miss: when you ignore the nudges, the whispers, the gentle proddings of intuition, the music of synchronicity begins to fade. Your doubt silences the signal. Your fear clouds the vision. But the moment you return to trust, you return to harmony, you return to the magical weaving where your life becomes a masterpiece of orchestration. I implore you, stop calling them coincidences. Call them what they are, God's love notes. Little reminders that you are seen, that you are guided, that you are not alone. Every delay you cursed became a redirection to something better. Every no you grieved became a grander yes, dressed in better timing. Every detour was divinely drawn to lead you to something you wouldn't have chosen but were destined to experience. And here's the deeper truth. When you are on the path of your divine design, you don't need to force, push, or beg. The right people appear. The right opportunities open. The right resources flow. And it all unfolds with a grace that leaves you in awe. It is a divine choreography, but you must trust the steps, even when you don't understand the music. Even if the rhythm seems offbeat, the pause is too long, the silence too loud. Trust that the next note will come at the perfect time, and that every seeming interruption is a divine intermission setting the stage for something greater. Stop labeling the miraculous as random. Every small synchronicity is part of a much larger sacred thread. Every little moment of magic is evidence that you are in tune with a higher frequency. That dream you almost gave up on, it's still echoing in the heavens, waiting for you to align. That prayer you whispered when no one was watching, it stirred the invisible. That feeling that something good is on its way, that's not delusion, that's intuition recognizing the music before it plays. Listen, feel, trust, dance, because the universe is not indifferent to your desires. It is intimate with them. It is orchestrating on your behalf. And all you need to do is stay in tune, stay in faith, and follow the melody. It will never lead you astray. And so, dear listener, we arrive at a deeper awareness. A place where the curtain lifts further, revealing the mechanics of the divine's elegant design. Part 4 of this symphony is about what happens after you begin to recognize the signs. Because once your spiritual eyes are open, you can no longer look at your life as a random series of unrelated events. No, now every chapter, every character, every turn of the page has divine fingerprints on it. You're no longer ask, why did this happen to me? Instead, you begin to ask, what is this trying to teach me? This is when the seemingly invisible conductor of life begins to stand at the forefront of your awareness. The Synchronicity Symphony, now in full motion, shows you that nothing is wasted, not the pain, not the delays, not the detours. Everything is curated to awaken you to your divine role in this masterpiece called life. I have often said, there is no loss in divine mind. And I mean it. What appears lost to you is merely repositioned by the universe to come back to you in a form more aligned with your growth, your purpose, and your joy. You might have missed the job, the partner, the opportunity, and cried over what felt like rejection. But what if that no was a divine route? What if the detour was a blessing in disguise? You see, the universe is not random. It is intentional. And when you are aligned with your divine plan, the intentionality of that universe becomes your personal orchestra. The rhythm of your life begins to make sense. The delays start sounding like preludes. The quiet seasons feel like tuning sessions before the crescendo. You stop resisting and start harmonizing. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer fear, you flow. You're no longer force, you trust. That's the power of living in synchronicity. Let me tell you something important. This is where the miracles multiply. You begin to find solutions before the problem even finishes forming in your mind. You meet people who seem to have been plucked straight out of a prayer. A quote on a billboard, a verse in a book, a song lyric at the perfect time. All of them speak to you as though heaven itself is whispering. You are seen. You are guided. Keep going. Do not ignore this. Do not label it a coincidence. It is a message. It is alignment. And most of all, it is love. Divine love, expressed through divine timing. These aren't accidents. These are appointments. Divine appointments. And what's more, it's not just about you. When you are aligned, you begin to serve as synchronicity for others. You become someone's miracle, someone's answer, someone's reminder. The same way someone showed up with the exact words you needed to hear, you too begin to offer light, effortlessly, just by walking in truth. That's how the divine current flows. From one aligned soul to another. That's the ripple effect of spiritual alignment. So here's your call to action. Keep listening, keep trusting, keep noticing, because when you stop labeling the magic of your life as mere chance, the miracles increase. The music gets louder, the divine connections come faster. Every step you take in faith becomes a note in the larger symphony. Don't silence it with doubt. Don't mute it with logic. Let it play. Let the universe do what it does best. Guide you in perfection. Synchronicity is not a fluke. It is your confirmation. Your divine plan is working. You are exactly where you're meant to be. And this is just the interlude. The crescendo is coming. The greatest harmony of your life is just ahead. Trust the tune. And so we find ourselves standing at the center of the divine symphony, with invisible threads weaving events together, orchestrating what the world dares to call coincidence, but what we now recognize as the deliberate rhythm of universal harmony. The clock doesn't tick by accident. The call you receive, just when your heart aches for comfort, isn't mere timing. The money that arrives unexpectedly when your need is dire is not some financial fluke. These are love notes from the divine, melodic whispers of guidance telling you, I see you, I hear you, I'm here. The world has conditioned us to dismiss these moments, to label them accidents, to say, what a strange coincidence. But Florence Scovel Shinn reminds you, they are not strange, they are sacred. The universe is never offbeat. When your soul aligns with your divine plan, the outer world begins to reflect your inner clarity. That is the Synchronicity Symphony. It is a law. It is an unfolding. It is a miracle in motion. Loop back now and remember a time in your life where things seemed too perfect to be real. Maybe you thought about someone and they messaged you seconds later. Maybe you needed direction and the book in your hand fell open to the exact answer. Those moments weren't random. They were rehearsed by divine intelligence. Nothing misses its mark when you're tuned in. You see, it all becomes music. A closed door turns out to be a protective chord in a greater melody. A missed flight leads to meeting someone who changes your destiny. A lost job becomes the birth of a calling. These aren't setbacks. They're symphonic alignments. It's not luck. It's law. And Florence Scovel Shinn said it boldly. If one door shuts, another door opens. Not might, not maybe. It who does. Because when you align your thoughts with the infinite, miracles become mundane, and wonders become your new rhythm. You don't chase synchronicity. You become it. You don't strive for signs. You flow into them. When you're in tune with your spiritual self, the signs find you. The timing becomes divine. The message comes through. A number repeats. A feather lands at your feet. A stranger speaks words only your soul was aching to hear. These aren't accidents. They are confirmations. You're not imagining the magic. You're finally hearing the music. The noise of fear, doubt, and resistance may have once drowned it out. But now you are learning to listen. The universe never stopped speaking. You just finally got quiet enough to hear. Let this part of your life be the crescendo. No more brushing aside the sacred for the sake of the rational. Let your heart lead you. Let your faith fuel you. And let the melody of synchronicity move you. You were never meant to walk this life alone, waiting for luck to knock. You are meant to dance with the divine, eyes open, hands outstretched, trusting that every note will land where it should. Your role, stay in alignment, hold the vibration, believe even when you can't see the full path. When the outer world is silent, tune into the inner world where guidance never sleeps. Your prayer, your intention, your inner clarity, these are the instruments you bring to the stage. And when you play them with sincerity, the universe responds with harmony. This is not just a law, it's a partnership. When you do your part, thinking rightly, speaking boldly, acting faithfully, the universe rushes in with its part. That's when the phone rings. That's when the money comes. That's when the stranger appears. That's when the door opens that once seemed sealed shut. You don't need to force anything. Just flow. The timing will be perfect. The direction will be unmistakable. And the miracle, it will be undeniable. Call this your divine rehearsal. The more you believe the design, the more your life begins to sing. So I say again, stop calling them coincidences. Florence Scovel Shinn says these are God's love notes. Open them, read them, and most importantly, respond. The symphony is playing. Are you listening? And so, dear one, we move even deeper into the symphony of synchronicity, the divine orchestra of unseen harmonies guiding your every step, even when you are unaware. You may believe you stumbled upon this moment by chance, but I assure you, there are no coincidences in the divine plan. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is accidental when you're walking in the rhythm of spiritual alignment. When you feel lost, know that the conductor of life has never misplaced you. When the melody shifts and the tempo quickens, you are not being thrown off. You're being synchronized. And the moment you choose to trust, truly trust, the composition of your life begins to resolve into breathtaking harmony. There is no need to panic when you do not understand the score. You are not the composer, dear soul. You are the instrument through which this heavenly masterpiece is being played. Perhaps you recall that time when you were thinking of a dear friend and the phone rang, and it was them. Or the afternoon you opened a book randomly and found the exact words your soul had been aching to hear. Maybe you've whispered a prayer for provision and then, almost magically, a check arrived or a stranger offered help. Do you believe all that was a fluke? No, beloved, it was not. These are not accidents. These are divine alignments. I call them God's love notes, gentle affirmations from the universe whispering, I see you. I hear you. I'm guiding you. These synchronicities are the silent applause of heaven, affirming that you are right where you need to be, even if it doesn't look like it on the outside. The law of synchronicity is not an abstract idea. It is a living principle, vibrating in the ether of your daily existence. It is a spiritual GPS system, rerouting you with grace, redirecting you with peace, reminding you that what thought was a detour was always part of the road, and even the delays are divine. That missed bus, that cancelled interview, that unexpected illness. They all shift the timeline just enough to ensure you bump into your miracle at precisely the right second. And what seems like wasted time is often a cocoon preparing you for your wings. You may not see it now, but if you tune your inner ear, you will begin to hear the sacred rhythm. Tick, tock, shift, align, open, receive. When Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "A miracle shall follow miracle and wonders shall never cease," wasn't making a poetic guess. She was delivering a spiritual law, and that law remains as true now as when she first spoke it. Miracles are not rare, they're just rarely noticed. And the one who trains their eyes to see through the lens of faith will begin to perceive miracles in parking spots, in overheard conversations, in delays and detours. The problem is not the absence of signs, but the absence of stillness. You must slow down, beloved, for the symphony is playing in a frequency that cannot be rushed. It plays at the speed of trust, not anxiety. And here's the truth many overlook. The universe is obsessed with details. Every whisper, every nudge, every spark of intuition is coded with divine intelligence. That feeling you can't explain, it's not random. That pull toward a certain place or person, it's orchestrated. That closed door you wept over, it wasn't punishment, it was preservation. You are being led by unseen hands. You are being guarded by invisible timing. You are being loved by a force that is beyond comprehension, but never beyond reach. So take this moment and breathe. Look back over your life not with regret, but with revelation. See the patterns that once looked like cows now forming constellations of purpose. Realize that the late-night tears were watering the seeds of today's synchronicities. Understand that those sudden urges to turn down a street or speak to a stranger were not random, but divine choreography. And most of all, remember that the universe does not operate by chance but by design. A design that includes you. A design that favors you. You are not unlucky. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are divinely timed, and your awareness of this truth is the very switch that activates the flow of more synchronicity. The more you notice, the more you receive. The more you trust, the more the path clears. It's a divine feedback loop. Your faith fuels the flow. So dear one, I leave you with this call to action. Become aware. Become receptive. Start honoring the small nudges and the gentle coincidences. Start journaling the moments that feel too perfect to be random. Begin to thank the universe for confirmations before they arrive. And most of all, stay open. Stay open to divine dialogue. Stay open to invisible instructions. Stay open to the love notes that will land softly on your soul in ways words cannot explain. Because synchronicity is not luck, it's alignment, it's grace in motion. And your life, your beautiful, wild, unpredictable life, it is the most intricate movement in the symphony of the divine. Let it play, let it flow, let it lead. And now, we arrive at the final movement of the Synchronicity Symphony, the grand crescendo of your divine timeline. You see, by the time you've come this far, something inside you has shifted. It's no longer about chasing signs or decoding coincidences. You've become the music. You've become the harmony. And the universe is playing you like a sacred instrument, tuning your moments to miracles, aligning your steps with serendipity, composing your life into something far more magical than you ever imagined. Remember, the law of the Synchronicity Symphony is not just an idea. It's a living truth. It is Florence Scovel Shinn's voice echoing through eternity, whispering, "Miracle shall follow miracle and wonders shall never cease." And as you hear those words again, not as theory but as confirmation, you begin to notice how many divine notes are embedded in your daily score. A missed turn that led to a needed encounter, a delay that opened the perfect door, a stranger's words that pierced right through your worry. The more you trust, the more you notice. The more you surrender, the more you receive. It is no longer about proof. It is about presence. Presence to what's already unfolding in perfect precision. You become the observer of the divine rhythm. You begin to relax into the pauses, not rush the melody. You learn that silence is part of the song. That rest is a note, too. And now the question is no longer, why is this happening? But rather, what symphony is this a part of? Every single soul that crosses your path was written into your script with golden ink. Every delay was a divine breath between stanzas. Every longing was a prelude to fulfillment. And the great composer has never missed a beat. When you understand this, truly understand it, you begin to live in a sacred rhythm. Worry fades, fear dissolves, you laugh more, you trust more. You move through life with the lightness of someone who knows, I'm right where I'm meant to be. You stop fighting with the tempo. You stop rewriting the notes. You let the divine song play through you, and in that surrender, you become unstoppable. You become magnetic. You become a miracle in motion. This is the heart of the Synchronicity Symphony Law. It's not about making it happen. It's about allowing what's already been written for you to unfold with grace. It's about dancing to a rhythm that was placed in your soul before you were even born. And here's your call to action: stay in alignment. Stay in faith. Stay available to wonder. Stay open to the notes you don't yet understand. For one day, very soon, you will look back and hear the entire melody. And it will take your breath away. This is Florence Scovel Shinn reminding you, stop calling them coincidences. They are God's love notes. They are sacred sheet music, and your life is the instrument. Play it with trust. Play it with joy. And above all, play it with divine expectation, for the greatest movements are yet to come.